One of my favorite tips when I'm decorating a room is to always include something that is thrifted in the room. It ensures that the space is less sterile with all the new pieces, and it adds an element of charm. But I get it, it could be quite intimidating if you're not used to shopping at thrift stores. You don't want your house to look like grandma's, and I totally understand. This video will teach you exactly what to look for when you are thrifting for home decor projects. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Vanessa, and on this channel, we talk about DIY projects for the home and the elements that go into them that make them work. I have to preface this conversation by saying that you should start with a list. I get it. If you've shopped at a thrift store, you're probably laughing at the fact that I just said this. But I'm not merely saying to have a list of things that you're gonna go shopping for at a thrift store, but rather have a list of things that you need so that when you go to the thrift stores, you can keep your eyes open on it. Because what we don't want to do is just to bring a whole bunch of random pretty items to our house, which defeats the purpose of having a well-curated space to live in. So have a running list of items that you will need in future projects or projects that you're currently working on, spaces that you're currently decorating, so that you can be more efficient when you are at the thrift store. If you're just getting started, I would highly recommend that you start by getting some vases and pottery. Thrift stores are notorious for having amazing pottery at dirt cheap prices. I typically go on a website like Crate and Barrel or a Pottery Barn, and I look at the shapes that are in. And sometimes I'll even go on stores like Our House's website and RH. Even though they don't technically push those items, they curate spaces that have those items in the pictures. So I look at what it is that they are using, and I try to replicate that. I keep that in mind when I am shopping for my vases. It doesn't really matter what the color is, because all you have to do is bring it home, give it a good cleaning, and use some paint to transform it. Never underestimate the power of paint to transform a piece. What I have done as well, I use this thing called spackling paste, something that you can find at Walmart, you can find at any hardware store, and it allows you to add texture to the spot. So like a lot of the larger pottery pieces that I've loved and I wanted to incorporate in my space, they are not of the texture. Even though I found it at a thrift store, it's not in the same texture that I would like it to be. So it just takes a little elbow grease for me to give it a facelift and make it exactly what I want, and saves hundreds of dollars from doing that one tip alone. Mirrors, mirrors, mirrors. Mirrors are the best items to thrift because most of the time you don't have to do anything to them. I have found some amazing, beautiful, large size mirrors, and a large size mirror can cost you like anywhere from like $300-400 upwards for just one mirror. So if you need mirrors for your space or mirrors for a room that you're putting together, the thrift store is a great place to start. You can find pieces that are good as is, and you can just like literally clean them and put them on your wall. But other times I've used thrifted pieces to actually customize and revamp my own mirror, like I did in my nursery project that I have posted last week. So if you did not see that one, go check it out, and I will definitely make sure that I post a video of the details, bit by bit, play by play about that mirror DIY, because it is one of my favorite DIYs, and I started with a thrifted mirror. So mirrors are a bomb. Best product to pick up at the thrift store. If you are enjoying this video, please do me a favor and subscribe to this channel and turn on the notification bell so that you can receive notifications whenever I upload new videos just like this one. Now, one of the products that just makes so much sense to buy at thrift stores is books, because let's face it, most people have books and they use it as decoration. If they read it one time, they probably don't pick it up very often unless it's a reference book. So most books at thrift stores are actually pretty new. And most thrift stores sell books for anywhere like 50 cents for paperback and $1 for hardcover books. I have found beautiful coffee table books that are large, that have beautiful pictures in the colors that I've decorated with in the past at thrift stores that were $1. I have picked up books that even I would read too sometimes that I found at thrift stores that I've used as risers for decorative items. So books are an amazing product to pick up at a thrift store. They typically have older books, like, you know, the vintage looking books, which adds a lot of charm to, like, let's say like a little coffee table that you have. And I've used them for projects like Christmas project. I've made a wreath out of the paper from the book. There is so many things that you can do and so many ways that you can use books to incorporate in your space, because not only can you pick it up and it's cheap at the thrift store, but it is one way to make your space feel lived in. So incorporating books in your decor and heading to the thrift store to pick those up, especially if you know it's just going to be a decor item, it's not a book that you're going to be reading from time to time, is top tier tip that our pockets love and that your project is going to love as well. Another great product to find at the thrift store is baskets, storage baskets, decorative baskets. And I will say this though, I always pick it up at least if there is at least two of the same style, because I don't want to have a whole bunch of random looking baskets in my house because, you know, that defeats the purpose of having like a nicely organized and curated space. So I'll pick up baskets if it's two or more, but they're always in abundance at the thrift stores as well, and they're always cheap. What I do is I usually just fill up my tub with water and put vinegar and soap in there and let it soak for a few hours, and then let it outside in the sun to dry. And I have a brand new spanking basket that are sometimes like for, you know, couple cents or $1 at the most for it. So baskets are a great way to get that. I know it's more of an organizational product more than a decor product, but organization is also part of decor, because if you have a cluttered space that's not organized, I don't care what you put into it, I don't care how pretty your other items are, it just doesn't work. It doesn't work. So yes, baskets are great things to pick up. Okay, one of the items that I actually think is even better to buy at a thrift store than at a lot of stores that sell new furniture is a dresser, because most thrift stores actually have dressers that are made of real wood. And if you can keep an open mind, all you have to do sometimes is just take it home. Again, give it a good cleaning, change the hardware. If you're feeling a little bit more confident in your abilities, in your DIY abilities, you can send it and give it a new stain or a new paint. There's so much DIY projects that are on just dressers that are all over the internet. Dressers are a must, and you can save so much money buying that one item at a thrift store than buying it brand new, and you're probably gonna get MDF particle board if you buy it at a store. So keep an eye out for dressers. I've used them as is for rooms, my kids' room. On what I typically do is after I clean it up or put like a contact paper on the inside, and I will change the hardware, give it a facelift. Or sometimes I even have one in our patio, because that's where I do, our kids are homeschooling, and I keep all of our homeschool products, like all of our books and extra papers, extra art supplies, I keep that in there. So they're not only functional, but they are like a great decor piece to pick up at a thrift store. Another one is book boxes. Book boxes are amazing. They're products that you can use like in your TV area to keep your remote or keep things that you want to keep hidden. And even if, again, it's not in the style or the color that you want, all you have to do is either use some contact paper in a style that you want and like wrap it up like a gift box, or I've seen people use even a piece of leather to give it style and give it like, you know, a little bit of jazz, whatever you want to say it. So jazz it up. To jazz it up, they've used leather. But yeah, this is another great product because it is, again, functional and it keeps your money in your pocket. This section, I never go to a thrift store without looking at it, and that is the picture frame section. I have found some gems in the picture frame sections. I have found gallery, wall art type of frames in that section of the thrift store, and they are super affordable. Usually they have art pieces that I don't care for, but that's an easy fix because you can always remove that and go on Etsy and pick up something that is within the style of the room that you're putting together and replace it with that. Or there is a website which is called Outsplash, and a bunch of photographers upload their beautiful photography in there, and it is free for you to download a beautiful art piece. Like, you could go in there and do, in the search bar, you can add whatever style of art that you're looking for, and it will populate, and you can download it and get it printed either at home or at a printing shop, and you have a beautiful curated piece of art for a fraction of the price. So I don't ever go to a thrift store without visiting that. Sometimes it could be the style that I like, but it's in a color that I don't like. Again, I have no problem with restaining. Rub and buff has been very helpful with that, and just painting it if all else fails. So yes, the frame section is bomb. Yeah, your girl will never go to a thrift store and not pick up a bowl if I find one. I don't mean the bowls that we eat from. I'm talking decorative bowls, nice, large, different shape, or those that are quirky and have like, you know, weird shapes. They come in wooden bowls or stone bowls. I will always pick those up because they are so multifunctional. You can use it for your fruits. You can use it for seasonal decor. You can use it as a catch-all bowl for your entryway where you drop in your keys. Add moss to it and make a moss bowl. The sky is the limit. So a good bowl is always a great find at a fraction of the cost at a thrift store. So if I find one, just know that if you don't get to it before I get to it, I'm picking it up because there's so many other things around the house that you can do with a bowl. A few other honorable mentions are lamps. Most thrift stores have a no return policy. Actually, I don't know any thrift stores that do, but there's usually an exception when it comes to electronics. They'll tell you like, okay, you got 15 days to test it and try it out and return it. But even if you were to find one that you love and for some reason it didn't function, there are now like rechargeable light bulbs that you can literally just like cut the cord and put rechargeable light bulb. I see people literally buy brand new lamps and still cut the cord because it's either in an entryway where there's no outlet or they don't want the cord to show, so they cut it and still do rechargeable light bulbs in it. So why not just go thrifting for that if you're going to cut the cord anyways and make it a dysfunctional item after you use it for that purpose. So I think lamps are great. Candlesticks are amazing, especially for holiday decor or your table. Candlesticks, I would say that look at the detail in the candle. The more detail in the candlestick, the more farmhousey and cottagey vibe it is. The more sleek and less detail it is, the more modern. So again, keep that in mind when you're shopping. Depending on the style that's in your home, you want to make sure that you're getting things that complement it. Although I do believe in mixing styles and it does add more interest in a space. So that could be a very small way of doing that. Even if you were to find some nice candlesticks that aren't necessarily the vibe in your room that you're prepping for, it could be a great addition for it. And of course, seasonal products, seasonal decor items are awesome. Again, with Christmas items, you can get wreath. You can find wreath at a fraction of the price. You can find garlands at a fraction of the price. And if it has certain elements of it that are outdated, you can easily plug those out and add picks and other things that matches whatever style that you're going for that year. Those are also great mentions and great things to pick up at the thrift store. If you enjoyed watching this video, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and let the algorithm know that you got your girls back. Okay? Thanks for hanging out with me. Goodbye until next time.